Today we're talking about espresso machine basics and steaming milk basics. So this is like the bread and butter of all the drinks that we make, you know, from lattes to mochas to anything. Starts with the espresso, which is the coffee flavor, and then it has the steam milk in it. So we're just gonna start making a couple different drinks, talk about the flow of things, and what kind of things you should be thinking about when you're pulling espresso. So as far as the espresso machine goes, this is the espresso machine. These are called portafilters, and so that's what we pull the espresso into. You can see it just is a grab it from the right, pull it down like this, and then up into there like that. The buttons are double and triple, so pretty much all the drinks that we use are double or triple. So pull the portafilter out. You can tamp this to get the espresso out. It is really important that we wipe out the grounds, the old grounds in there. We don't want to pull any water through those grounds. And then we can set our portafilter in there, and then we have two different buttons on top. This would be the double right here, and this would be the triple. And those are a predetermined amount of espresso that works well. So it'll pull for a set amount of time. So for this, if we want to pull a double, we'll start that. So then while we're pulling out of the grinder the espresso, we can go grab the milk of our choice for the drink that we're making. So typically if it's a default milk, it'd be whole milk. Now it's best if the pitchers we pull straight out of the fridge so that they can be cold pitchers, because it's gonna steam the best if you have a cold pitcher and cold milk. So we pour this milk into there, and if we're making, say we're making a medium latte, then right up to about halfway, you can, this has ounces on there, but 12 to 14 ounces for a medium, because it does expand and stretch as we steam it. So now we have our espresso here, and we're gonna tamp it. So important things to think about when tamping. Firm pressure, trying not to make sure that the tamper doesn't go any which way, okay? You want the tamp to be really consistently applied, as flat as possible. Because any way that you, if it's angled at all, then the water is gonna find that area. So we wanna make sure that the water is being pressurized through the coffee evenly. So now we have our espresso ready. We can put it up into the machine, right? And then the next step that we're gonna talk about is steaming milk. So we put our milk into the container. Really important step is that we blow this out every time, because there's water and condensation that forms in here, and you're injecting that water into the milk if we don't get it out right away. So open that up for just a quick second, and then we can start to steam our milk. A couple things we want to think about when we're steaming milk is, right now the milk comes out of the fridge and it's at, 40 degrees, whatever the fridge is holding it at. And that first, between 40 degrees and 100 degrees is when we can create the foam that we want for lattes, cappuccinos, pretty much any drink that has a little foam on top. So the way that we're gonna do that is that we let the tip of the steam wand at the top of the milk. And so when you're letting a little bit of air in, and you'll hear it through the mic, or like when I start steaming it, you'll hear what it's supposed to sound like. We want it to be right at the top of that milk for the first up to 100 degrees, and then we can totally submerge the steam wand and just heat it up to 160 degrees is what we want the final number to be for the drink. So I have that steam wand right at the top of the milk, and you can hear how it's just like hissing a little bit, like that. So we're at 75 degrees right now, 80 degrees now. Now we're at 90 degrees. Now it's right at 100 degrees. So now we can put the steam on all the way in, and now we're just heating it up from 100 to about 140 to 150. And then we can shut it off right around 150. Right up to around 160. And so for the timing to work out really well, right as you start steaming the milk, you can lean over and hit the espresso button so that that espresso will start pulling. So that your espresso is pulling while you're steaming milk. So we have our espresso done. We'll put the espresso in the cup first. Then we'll take the steam milk. You can kind of like pound it on the counter a little bit. That'll help get the micro bubbles and the micro foam to really settle. So then when you pour slowly right away, the milk will come out. And then towards the end, you can kind of shake it like this, and that will allow the foam to come out. The other ways that you can do it are using a spoon to hold back that foam right away. And then at the end, you can just let the foam out, or you can even like take it and spoon some of that little foam out. And there you go, that would be a latte. So what we just made was a plain latte. And obviously a lot of what we do is gonna be flavored lattes or mochas or things with flavor. So the only thing that you would do differently for that would be to grab your cup, which should be here. If we grab our cup, and then we put the amount of flavor in it. So for example, if it's a small mocha, then we would put 2 pumps of chocolate in it, right? So we'd go 1, 2, and then we would put our cup over here. And then what we would want to do is have the hot espresso melt that mocha. So if you pull your espresso into a cup, then you'd pour it into there. Otherwise, if your cup can fit in the espresso machine, then you pull the espresso right into the mocha. Stir the mocha with the espresso mixture, and then take your steam milk and pour it in on top. Flavored lattes, mochas, anything with flavor, we kind of start with a 2, 3, 4 rule. So if it's a small mocha, then you would do 2 pumps. If it's a medium mocha, you do 3 pumps. If it's a large mocha, you do 4 pumps. And say someone comes in and they want like a caramel vanilla latte, then you would do 4 total pumps. So you do 2 pumps caramel, 2 pumps vanilla for a large. So that's your kind of your way. If they want 3 different, say they want a medium with caramel, vanilla, and hazelnut, then you would do 1 pump of each. So what we've gone through so far in this video is really how to do it on your own. So if you are pulling a shot by yourself, you're getting the whole drink ready by yourself, that's a good way to do it. Now, when you're in a busy rush or there's multiple people working, then you guys can kind of work separately on different parts of the drink. Like if someone is just steaming milk and they're steaming milk, and someone is prepping cups and pulling shots, then that works really well to work together so that you can just be pulling shots, getting cups ready, writing on there. And so I think in future videos we'll do another video about working in a busy rush, how to do that. We'll do a video more in-depth about espresso. We'll do another video more in-depth about steaming milk. But this is just really a basic overview of how to work the espresso machine, how to steam milk, some things that we want to make sure are getting done correctly every time. But there's a lot more in-depth you can go, like talking about latte art and how to make a cappuccino. And so this is just like initially some basic information we want to get out there to make sure we're all doing the same things. But in the future, we'll dive deeper into each one of these topics.